Everything okay?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am awaiting your instructions.
And to think that when I first became a lawyer, I was worried I'd get... Don't worry, Oscar. Everything's just hunky-dory. Oscar, we have a serious problem. How can we carry on our journey if this...
Every clock has its key, Kate.
Well, I hope you're right. Oscar, there's no way you could help me...
Rust awaits my every movement if I leave this train.
Oscar, I think that Hans Vorarlberg...
Nothing is left to check. We have no concrete proof to support your hypothesis.
I was just...
No, Kate.
This train might be a wonder of technology, but the engine's
I am
Oscar?
in a while.
Thing looks like the winding machine I used in the Valladolid station. I've got to find a way of getting the train up here.
Kate Walker! Kate Walker! Come over here, please! I have something to say to you!
Yes, Oscar?
A message has arrived for you.
A message?
You have been summoned to see the rectors. They are the highest authority at the university. They want to talk to you.
Talk to me?
Yes, to the person responsible for the train.
So, I'm in charge now. Sure, okay. But why would these gentlemen want to see me at all?
They do not say why, just that it's very important.
Everything?
Yes, Kate.
And to think that when I...
Is something wrong?
Don't... There's a winding machine further on down there. But we're going to have to shift the train 50 yards.
Impossible, Kate Walker. Train Engineer's Instruction Manual, Chapter 3, Article 2. Once the springs are slack, the train cannot move.
The train cannot move by itself, Oscar. Only by itself. Oscar, there's no way you...
Rust awaits my...
You should take a look around the station, Oscar. It's amazing. Greenhouses that are all lit up, exotic trees, and thousands of birds of all different colors.
I am obliged to avoid exposing my wheelwork to corrosive bird excreta. I shall remain inside to monitor the locomotive.
Of course. Well, too bad for you. Oscar?
In a while.
Can't go there. Hello.
You arrived by train, I see.
Yes, I've come from Valladolid.
It's been a long time since I've seen a train here. Students, did you bring students with you?
No, I traveled alone. Well, almost alone.
I remember around the start of fall, trains would bring kids from all around the world here to study zoology and botany, paleontology, and all that stuff. This was a great university.
And it isn't still great today, then?
Today? Well,
Have you been the station master of Barrugstadt for a long time?
I've never had another job. Now, you tell me, are you in charge of this train?
No, I'm not sure.
So what's your thing here? You come here to do some bookworming over at the university?
Well, sort of. I'm always looking for new information.
Well, you don't seem to know a lot. And about that train, it's gonna get in the way if you leave it there, that's for sure.
In fact, I'm a lawyer and I'm conducting a pretty unusual investigation.
Investigation, huh? Hey, I'm just a station master. I don't know too much about anything.
Well, you never know. Anybody could be significant in this case.
See, nobody actually tells me anything, so my hands are totally clean.
I never implied they weren't. You don't know where I might find equipment to wind up my train springs, do you?
Not in this station, that's for sure. And I would know. You might want to try near the wall. So, thinking of staying for long, miss?
No. I don't know, actually. 1 or 2 days tops. You see, I've got to wind my train back up so that I can continue my journey.
It's just, if you stay here too long, I might get in trouble. The train should stop, then leave again. That's the rule. Besides, your machine's disturbing the birds.
Maybe you could take me up to this wall? If there were 2 of us, we could find what I need to wind up my train even quicker.
Miss, forgive me, I gotta stick to the rules. You know, I have to man the station. I don't want to get into trouble with my superiors at the university. You understand?
You don't know where I might find... I feel like I've lost my way a little here. I could really do with your help.
Hey, anything I can do, miss, you just let me know.
The name Hans Laurelberg doesn't mean anything to you by chance, does it?
Oh, do you really think I'd remember one little name from the thousands that pass through this station?
I'm sorry to junk up your station like this, but the spring mechanism on my train needs winding.
A spring-operated locomotive? There's a thing.
Yeah, and an impractical thing, too.
Yeah, I always dreamed of taking a train, but now I'm over the hill. And someone has to take care of the birds, after all.
I'm sorry to junk up... Yeah, I won't I'm sorry to
What can I...
All these birds in a station. It's amazing.
This is no ordinary station, miss. Oh, no. These birds are part of the prestigious University of Baruchstadt Ornithological Collection. Over the years, this aviary has housed some of the most fantastic species from all over the world. And I am not exactly your typical station master either. This little world is my responsibility, and that is no easy task.
I can well believe you.
And you know what's the hardest? The hardest thing is to keep interspecial harmony. And one day some explorer introduced a couple of cuckoos from the Amazon. Whoa!
It wasn't a good idea?
A nightmare! You know, cuckoos lay their eggs in the nests of other species, right? Now, what's more, they also push the host's eggs out of the nest so that they receive all the mother's attention, right? Accursed cuckoos. Nightmare.
I see what you mean. That's one tricky bird. And there was nothing you could do to stop it?
The faculty declared the bird a protected species. If it wasn't for our mechanical eagle, we were sitting on a major ornithological catastrophe.
You have an automaton here?
A wonder of technology. It's an eagle that's mounted on rails in the air. It passes through and it swoops down to collect parasite eggs. But heck, the dang eagle's been out of order for several years. Impossible to collect the eggs myself.
Why not?
I can't climb up the gangway. I fell off it several months back and I still have a pain in my spine. Not to mention the vertigo I've been getting. I only have to look up in the air. Whoa.
You poor soul. That must be very hard.
Worst thing is, cuckoo eggs piling up in the nests. Soon the rectors are gonna notice. There's trouble in store, big trouble. I'm worried. Yep, worried.
All these... you have one... I won't...
What?
key. That looks broken. Hey there! On the boat!
Guten Tag, schöne Mademoiselle.
My husband say, "Hello, young lady. You want to talk to us?"
My name is Kate Walker, and I'm a lawyer. I'm in charge of this train. This situation is really very new to me.
Lawyer, good job. Earn lot of money.
A lot? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I can't really complain, I guess. There's worse.
Lawyer always ask a lot of money.
Can we change the subject, please? I really don't want to go down this road. My name is...
Lawyer,
Can we... Are you from Bergstadt?
Niet.
So you're like me. Birds just passing through. I'm stuck here because of my train.
Kleine Puskereisen mit uns, no?
What did he say?
Train kaput. No luck for you.
Are you from
Niet.
So you...
Klein...
What did he...
Train.
I have a little problem with my train. It's kind of broken. I've absolutely got to get it out of the station. Do you think you could tow it over to the wall with your barge?
Lock closed. Barge blocked.
But if the locks were open, would it be okay to tow my train then?
Porke no? More money for that werk.
Da, it's possible. My husband say we help you if you give money.
Right. And how much do you want?
Cinquante.
He want $150.
$150? I don't have that much.
No money, no barge.
Let me offer you $75.
Nay, $125.
Out of the question. $100 and not a dime more.
Correct. You have barge for $100.
Great. Now, don't move. I'll be back as quick as possible with the money. I have a little
Lock,
but I'll... Hey there.
Good.
You must really get to see the countryside. Do you know New York at all?
We no understand.
I'm looking for a funny little man who was supposed to live in Syberia. Can you imagine that? Syberia. I expect you've already been there.
Sie vragen komen to Syberia?
Syberia. No. Too cold. Barge no break ice.
I hope my train isn't too big for your barge.
Tis okay. Motorboat erste Klasse.
My husband say correct. Powerful motor.
I mean, we're not exactly very far from the winding machine, are we? It's dumb, isn't it, all this effort to go a few yards?
Put train in barge? Nah, not possible.
Have you gone down to take a look around the station yet? It's amazing. You know, it's full of exotic birds.
Me to my girl? Ja. Ja, met plezier.
We no leave boat. Husband is land sick.
It's not very polite of you to take advantage of my predicament. We could have done favors for each other, for free, out of solidarity.
Favor, alles speak not full. Money, ja, muy full.
Excuse me?
My husband say need money for leave. $100 not lot for fancy lady like you.
How would you know a fancy lady like me, really? I'll leave you to it.
Das
God, this thing's... God, this... Hello.
Hey, baby, you party? You sure looking mighty fine. Love those big round eyes.
Just who do you think you are?
Hey, spunky. I'd like that in a lady. Okay, I'm hooked. Come on, Zol. I'll let you buy me that coffee.
I don't remember ever asking.
Hey, don't play hard to get. I know you like it big time.
Listen, kid. Go back home and play with your toy cars and forget you ever saw me. Hello.
Hey, baby, you party? You sure looking mighty fine. Love...
Just who do you...
Hey! Hey!
Listen. Good day to you, gentlemen.
Tell me, young lady, to what do we owe this pleasure?
Please do be brief. We do not have very much time on our hands.
As rectors of this university, we have serious matters to attend to, and our time is precious.
I have heard you wish to meet the owner of the train that is currently in your station. May I know the reason for your summons?
We are surprised that your train has not yet left, miss. The situation is most regrettable.
The rules do clearly state that trains are meant to come and go and not remain stationary at a platform.
Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
We agree then, dear colleagues, that what we're dealing with is deviant behavior.
This matter really is cause for concern.
It's a clockwork train, you see? So it needs winding up again. Unfortunately, there is no equipment in the station to do this.
A clockwork train? That's strange.
How very quaint. You mean it's some sort of mechanical toy?
You are causing a hindrance to us, miss.
I am very hopeful that I will find what I need along the wall.
The wall? Miss, that really is not a suitable place for you to go.
Especially for a young lady.
You see, miss, we freely admit that every day we praise the existence of that particular edifice. We owe the integrity of our dear university and the fine education it provides to the wall.
It protects us from harm and invasion from the unknown.
May God protect us from what is beyond those ramparts, miss. Please believe me.
I don't have any choice. I must continue my journey.
Such a decision is a correct one since it's in line with regulations.
Thus, your train will indeed be able to leave.
And consequently cease to obstruct our station.
I haven't introduced myself. My name is Kate Walker.
Walker, haven't we already had a Miss Walker? Ethnology Masters, September 1953, if my memory serves me correctly.
Perfectly well, my dear colleague. But if I may be so bold, it was a Mr. Walker and not a Miss. It was Bill Walker, sat the June 68 exams. The impudent fool turned up for the oral assessment in jeans, flouting strict internal regulations which explicitly state the required uniform for the occasion.
Pure incitement. It was scandalous. Sadly, we have seen worse since. Young people lack all respect of traditional values.
Tradition, young lady. One must always uphold tradition.
You see, I didn't actually intend to stop here, but the springs of my train gave up, you see?
No, not really. You mean to say you're not a student?
You have arrived a little late in the term, miss. Enrollment for this year has already terminated.
But as rectors of this university, and therefore representatives of its highest authority, we could bend the rules a little, if you like.
You don't understand. I'm a lawyer from New York, or rather Valladolid more precisely. My client wants to buy out an old mechanical toy factory, but its heir isn't actually dead and is living somewhere in Syberia. I've got to get to him to sign the sales contract. You see?
Not really. This is a most peculiar tale.
A kerfuffle of the highest order.
We have an excellent law school, if you should ever change your mind.
Can you possibly help me out here?
Miss, your insistence is almost verging on indecency.
We cannot constantly be at your disposal. We have many other requests to attend to.
If you don't mind, could you not disturb us all the time? Thank you.
Does the name Hans Vorarlberg mean anything to you by chance?
Ah, one of the brightest, most idealistic intellects to have graced our university. Hans Vorarlberg. I remember speaking to him once. I was still a student at the time. He just stared at me, lost in thought for a while. He scarcely ever said a word. But how can one forget him?
Idealistic? I'll grant you that. But bright? Oh, don't go too far. He was completely incapable of passing any exams. All he ever did was to sit in on lessons, and not many of them either. Paleontology, mainly. He had an unhealthy passion for mammoths, which matched the state of his intellect perfectly. That is to say, prehistoric.
Prehistoric? How dare you? A little far-fetched, maybe. But he did have flashes of intellectual brilliance, comprehensible only to high-minded scholars who hold no score by appearances. My dear colleague, your hasty conclusions are somewhat cavalier.
My assessment is wholly accurate. The boy was a little odd. You must concur if my father, who was rector of the university at the time, had not shown great indulgence towards him. Hans Vorarlberg would have never attended this establishment.
What about the bandstand, then? Is that the work of a deranged mind? Even after all these years, you are still jealous of it.
My dear colleagues, I beseech you, let's show some decorum. We have a visitor. What do you want with Hans Vorarlberg, miss? Are you a member of his family?
No, not at all. I'm looking for him to clear up an inheritance matter. Is he still here?
What? Here? At the university? No, not at all. He left a long time ago. Yes, a very long time ago. The very year I was nominated to this position, in fact. Almost 50 years ago already.
The poor soul moved on once he learned all he needed to know about mammoths.
Ah, this establishment was never quite the same after his departure, it must be said.
You mean to say it was never as bad? All that oddball brought to this university was his misplaced fantasies.
Gentlemen, let's try to retain the calm and level-headedness that befits our position.
Excuse me.
Miss, we find ourselves terribly put out by the presence of your train in our station and by its recurrent immobility.
Indeed, the situation is very regrettable. Your huge locomotive is very cumbersome.
A train should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
That idea of the station aviary is really very original.
It's the pride of our university. One of the specialties taught here is zoology, you see, and more particularly, ornithology. Proper study and instruction should not be limited to books. Observation of living matter is indissociable from theoretical questions.
It contains some very rare specimens that have been brought back from far-away, exotic countries, especially for our university, by the world's most intrepid explorers.
Do you remember Alexander Valenbois and his peculiar bird?
Absolutely. His gift produced some very embarrassing long-term consequences.
A poison chalice, indeed. It must be said the situation could have been much worse, however.
Oh, yes, it could have been terribly problematic.
That idea of the... Some sailors have agreed to tow the train, but I don't have enough money to pay them. I was wondering if you could help me out. For a while. I could work for the money.
Please wait, miss. We have certain confibulations to attend to.
That is right. We must confibulate between ourselves. A collegiate decision must be taken.
I hope that we are not indisposing you in any way.
Why not?
If it helps us get rid of that train.
My word, that is a fine idea.
What do you have in mind, gentlemen?
When you arrived here, you must have noticed a splendid bandstand which honors the main university courtyard.
A unique piece of mechanical craftsmanship which no longer works, alas.
Why, yes, we have very moving memories of its melodies. We're prepared to offer you a financial reward if you can set it working again.
With pleasure. What do I have to do?
Unfortunately, my dear, time and rust have taken their toll on this university, and our automatons no longer have a spring in their step. You are going to have to be resourceful.
To tell you the truth, there are a number of complex mechanisms here in Barakstadt, and it would appear that we have unfortunately lost their operating instructions.
Your train, however, is an extremely ingenious invention, so you should be no stranger to complex mechanisms, should you? We are therefore counting on your ingenuity, miss.
I hope that I can show myself worthy of your faith in me, gentlemen.
Well, my dear colleagues, one more university matter nicely tied up.
Are you sure you want me to mend your bandstand? You don't have some other service I could perform for you that is less complicated?
It appears to me that you are in no position to make demands, miss. So please, keep up with the good work and good luck.
Don't think for a moment that our university is falling apart around our ears. We pay close attention to its maintenance in both the moral and the physical sense of the word.
It is currently the only repair work that deserves payment on completion.
I haven't introduced myself.
Walker.
Could I possibly leave the train in the station for one more day?
Out of the question. Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
Perform the task we agreed on, quickly, and we will pay you on completion.
A deal is a deal. Here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Already? My word, doesn't time fly by?
Thank you for a charming visit, miss.
And thank you, gentlemen. Excuse me. Can I disturb you a second?
No.
You could be a little bit nicer about it.
Keep quiet. In case you haven't noticed, we're somewhere that requires silence and tranquility.
Excuse me. Can I...
No, you keep...
Excuse me. Sir, please, just a moment.
Yes, what is it? I'm not deaf, you know.
I am sorry to disturb you in your work, sir, but...
This young Mammothus primigenius is barely 40,000 years old. Fantastic, wouldn't you say, miss?
Yes. Probably.
What do you mean, probably?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, you don't know, I see. What can I do for you, my dear child?
To tell you the truth, I don't know very much about mammoths, and I'm not here as a student. In fact, I'm a lawyer.
It's all right. Nobody is perfect. All the same, the study of the Pleistocene period is fascinating.
I'm sure it is, but I'm sorry to say my current mission is totally monopolizing my time. Another time, maybe.
Ah, that's what they all say. But anyway, let me present myself. I'm Cornelius Ponce, Emeritus Professor and Lecturer at the University of Barhochstadt. I'm proud to say that I'm head of the Department of Paleozoology at our university.
Kate Walker. Pleased to meet you. It wasn't really my intention to stop off here, but I'll confess, this university is really very impressive.
Ah, indeed. There's such a tradition of learning here. So much knowledge, a real depth of culture, intelligence, and grey matter. I myself did my studies here and never left.
Actually, I'm here because I've been summoned by the rectors of the university.
Oh, I see. You must have made a mistake on your enrollment form.
No. I haven't come here to study. I have an important matter of inheritance to attend to. I have to find the heir.
And you hope you will find him here?
I'm not altogether sure. But you see, my train broke down coming into Barrackstadt Station.
In that case, my dear, you must come to one of my lectures. Here's a question for you. Do you know what the Proboscidean order is?
The Probo-whatian?
You see? There are gaps in your knowledge that need refreshing.
It wasn't really my intention to stop off here, but...
And you...
I'm not...
In that case,
I feel I've lost my way a little here. I could really do with your help.
Oh, my dear child, you've chosen your moment. I absolutely must finish off my lecture for this afternoon.
It's a lecture about mammoths?
Oh, yes and no. More specifically, it is about their migration. Do excuse me, I need to concentrate.
To tell you the truth, I'm looking for Mr. Hans Vorarlberg. He's the sole heir of a very unusual factory. My company is in charge of negotiations for the takeover of this factory. At last word, he was living in Syberia. So, as soon as my train is ready, I'll be continuing my journey eastwards.
Syberia. Syberia. But what was it you said again?
Said what?
You mentioned a name. The person you are looking for.
Vorarlberg. Hans Vorarlberg. Do you know him?
Hans Vorarlberg. How could I forget him? Such an extraordinary fellow. So inventive. We shared a passion for mammoths, you know, and we bonded over this passion. Without it, I confess, I would have had little to do with an odd, ageless retard like Hans. At the time, we were both students. Well, sort of. Put it this way. Hans had special permission to attend paleontology lectures. You see, he didn't really have the necessary qualifications. In exchange, Hans did a few odd jobs around the university.
Your Hans Vorarlberg sounds uncannily like the one I'm looking for.
I'm not sure, my dear. Hans was above all questions of money and business. Just to imagine him running a factory, perish the thought.
Can you tell me a little bit more about him?
He was always a mystery to me. He never said very much, never quite seemed to grasp what you said to him. He expressed himself instead through his incredible mechanical contraptions. His inventions, I admit, have been much appreciated by the university. The few times we really did talk, it was about his strange interest for mammoths and a doll. Some sort of doll that obsessed him.
A doll, you say?
Yes. He kept talking about it. One day he described it to me. A sort of children's toy. A miniature mammoth mounted by a maut. It appears he found it in a cave not far from his home. The event all sounds very dramatic. His account was slightly confused, but it awoke a great interest in me.
What do you mean?
To my knowledge, there was only one tribe who made figurines featuring a maut, and that tribe is the Yukols. They live in the farthest reaches of Syberia, and for them, the dolls constituted a sacred object, illustrating one of their central legends. How such a doll made the journey from the frozen Siberian north to a cave in the French Alps is a mystery to me. Even today, it is beyond my comprehension.
Have you considered that Hans Vorarlberg was maybe making it up? You said yourself he didn't seem to have all his mental facilities intact.
No, that's impossible. Hans couldn't invent the story like that. The doll is a sacred part of the Syberia legend. He described it to me in exact detail. Syberia itself is a chimera that paleontologists of the world are very fond of pursuing.
Arriving in Bergstadt is an amazing experience. I've never seen such a station.
You came by train?
Yes, in a kind of clockwork train with a spring mechanism that winds down regularly.
You mean you drive a train? Young ladies of today never cease to amaze me.
Oh, no, I'm not the engineer. The train's engineer is actually an automaton. I am sorry, all this probably sounds very strange.
A clockwork train, driven by an automaton. I once knew a man long ago who could have invented such a train. It was he who designed the bandstand in the main square. To think that he was even capable of creating such a gadget. He was astounding, a true genius. But oddly, at the same time, he was also almost a child. It was as if his mental and physical evolution had definitively halted at the age of 10. Can you believe that?
Yes. I think I can believe that. At least I'm beginning to. Arriving in Bergstadt is an amazing experience. I've never...
You came by...
Yeah.
You...
My train stopped in a peculiar aviary. It's very odd. A lot of bird species seem to seek harbor there.
Ornithology is far from being my favorite subject, but I must concede that the station is the pride of the university. It was initially intended for teaching purposes, but then birds started arriving from all around the world. It seems that there are still rare species breeding there and flourishing.
Are there? Can you give me an example?
I have been told about a kind of bird with peculiar habits. Let's see now, the Amazon cuckoo, that's right. But, I'm so foolish, I can't remember what was so special about it. Just that its behavior is very peculiar.
The Amazon? Where's the Amazon? What is the Amazon?
I'm sorry, my dear, but one cannot learn everything in a lifetime. Specialization is the key to real knowledge. Why don't you pay a visit to our library?
Thank you very much. If I were to say Forest Sauvignon to you, what would you say?
Oh, let's see. Sauvignon. Sauvignon? I would say it's some kind of tropical shrub, don't you think?
We are talking about the same plant, then. It is a very rare shrub with small, juicy fruits. I found a book about the Amazon, and it says that there are even Sauvignon plants growing right here in Bergstadt. You wouldn't know where, would you?
Amazon Sauvignon plants here? No, I don't think there are any. Hardly implausible, but you should ask the station master. He is keeper of the greenhouse at our university, so he could tell you more than me.
Oh, thanks very much. Professor, how do I say this? You see, I didn't think I'd need a lot of money when I set out. And it turns out I need money after all. It's a delicate matter, I know, but I was wondering if you could help me out.
My dear, it would be a pleasure, but you see, I barely have enough myself to cover my meager expenditure on what I'm paid by the university.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend or...
However, if we look at the example of Hans, it is true that our university always rewards people who perform some service for it. This is our dear rector's jurisdiction, however.
I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child.
No point. No point. No point. Hello?
So, you got him then, this air?
Ah, it's you, Mr. Marson. Good day, and how are you, sir?
I'll feel a whole lot better when this whole business is over and the sales contract is signed. Where the hell are you?
I'm in Barkstadt.
What? What in God's name are you doing there?
It's a magnificent university town. It would appear Hans Vorarlberg once passed by here several years ago.
So if he isn't there anymore, then there's no point hanging around.
I hear what you're saying, sir, but I have good reason to believe that Hans Vorarlberg is still alive. For the time being, I'm trying to gather extra information from people who have known him.
What's your next destination?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Doesn't sound like you know too much, Kate.
I just need a bit of time, Mr. Marson.
Yeah, well, time is what you ain't got. Keep me posted.
Hello.
Hey, baby, you party? You sure looking mighty fine. Love those big round eyes.
Just who do you think you are?
Hey, spunky. I'd like that in a lady. Okay, I'm hooked. Come on, Zol. I'll let you buy me that coffee.
I don't remember ever asking.
Hey, don't play hard to...
Listen, kid. Go back home. I'm sorry to disturb you.
What can I do for you, miss?
Where might I find some forest Sauvignon plants, please?
No place around here, that's for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. That stuff's from the Amazon.
You know, for someone who knows nothing about the plant, you seem pretty well informed about which mysterious faraway country it comes from.
Oh, Amazon, Peru, Papua New Guinea, it's all the same to me. Gotta go. Gotta work.
Wait, don't go. You know what? I don't think he was being totally straight with me. Everything okay?
Yes, Kate Walker.
You don't know where I might find any Amazon forest Sauvignon, do you?
No, Kate Walker.
Oscar, the sailors have agreed to tow the train, but they want to get paid for it. I suppose you have some petty cash on board to cover traveling costs?
No, there is nothing like that. You will note, however, Kate Walker, that every effort has been made to ensure maximum passenger comfort.
Okie dokie. I'll have to sort this one out by myself, then. Oscar, I think that Hans Vorarlberg once stayed in this town after he left Valladolid. Maybe this wasn't a chance stopover after all.
Nothing is left to chance in a railroad network.
You agree with me, then?
We have no concrete proof to support your hypothesis. The train stopped because the clockwork mechanism is unwound. That is the only...
I was just hoping...
No.
The university authorities want us to move the train out of their station. According to internal regulations, trains are designed for coming and going, not staying at platforms.
They have a point, Kate Walker. However, our train is unique, and its clockwork mechanism has requirements that are beyond the station's rudimentary equipment.
Hey, that's...
The problem is also beyond my mandate.
What? And to think that when I first... Don't... Oscar?
In a while.
Excuse me, Station Master, but I need you again.
Can't you see I am very, very busy?
No.
Well, I am. Very busy indeed. But, okay, I think I can give you a minute of my time.
Have you been the station master?
I've never had another job.
No,
So what's your thing here? You come here to do...
Well, sort of.
Well, you don't seem to know.
In fact... Well, I've just been to see the rectors, and they told me to get the train out of the station as quick as I can.
I thought they'd say that. Rules are rules, and you gotta stick by them. Not a good idea to get into trouble with the university administration.
Absolutely. I've got enough worries as it is. What should I do then?
Well, I suggest you move your train.
But it's like I say, the springs are unwound. Everyone seems to think it's my fault.
The locomotive's engine might not work, it's true, but maybe there's some other way of moving the train.
It's a possibility, I suppose. What were you thinking of exactly?
Nothing. It was just an idea. Anyway, miss, you shouldn't hang around here. I have a job to do.
I feel like I've lost my way a little.
Hey, anything I can do?
The name Hans Vor...
Oh, do you really think I'd remember?
It seems that your superiors object to the present...
Well, it's not that they're difficult to please, but I find that the less I have to do with them, the better things are. Give a drift. Birds, more peaceful than employers. And respect for the regulations. Now that brings peace of mind.
All these birds...
This is no ordinary station, miss. Oh, no.
I can...
And you know what's the hardest? The hardest thing is...
It wasn't...
A nightmare. You know, cuckoos lay their eggs in the nests of other species.
I see what...
The faculty declared the bird
You haven't...
a wonder of technology.
Why not?
I can't climb up again.
You poor...
Worst thing is, cuckoo eggs piling up in the nests. Soon the rectors are gonna notice. There's trouble in store.
I'm looking for a kind of little juicy berry. You don't know where I could find some?
Look, lady, the station doesn't have any Sauvignon berries, not even Forest Sauvignon.
Funny you should mention it. That's exactly what I was looking for. Forest Sauvignon.
Sauvignon, raspberries, red currants, they're all the same to me. And we don't grow none of them here.
But you see, I have just read a very interesting book which says that the rare Sauvignon berry is actually cultivated here, in the famous Baruchstadt University aviary itself.
Well, if it's in a book, then... Don't believe everything you read, miss.
I don't know why, but I don't think you're telling me the truth.
What do you mean? I don't know. How should I know where to find your stupid grave? Go ask your professor, what's his name, Pons, the paleontologist.
But you're the master of this station, so you should know better than anyone.
Nobody tells me anything. I don't know. Go see the old guy with the fossils.
The sailors on the barge reckon they could help me tow my train out of here.
Miss, really? I'm surprised.
Right. I need cash. I need it to get my train out of your station, because my train is getting in your way, disturbing your birds, and upsetting your bosses.
Look, lady, I'm only a station master. I got my problems, and you got yours.
I'm looking for...
Look, lady.
Funny you But you... I don't... But you're...
Nobody tells me anything.
I won't
Welcome to...
do excuse me, Professor.
What is it you want to know?
Please do excuse my persistence, Professor. But, pity.
When I think of Hans, I'm always reminded of...
What would you say about seeing Hans Vorarlberg again?
Young lady, you are very kind.
My train stopped in a peculiar...
I'm sorry, my dear, but...
Thank you very... You wouldn't know where the forest Sauvignon plants are kept in Barrackstadt, would you?
Why do you think there are Sauvignon plants here?
I read about it in a book at the library.
Try going to see the station master. If such a shrub exists, he will have a better idea than anyone.
It's actually he who sent me to you. I thought it a little strange, but he definitely said ask the paleontologist. You're the only one here, aren't you?
Yes indeed. What a strange way to behave. Well, I think he must have made a mistake, that's all. Nobody tells me anything here. Maybe you should ask the rectors. After all, they are in charge of the university.
All right, thanks. I'll leave...
Sorry?
No point. Gentlemen, forgive me for disturbing you again, but I have a little problem.
A little problem. Everyone has little problems now, you know.
They are kept to oneself, and they don't stop the world from turning.
Nor trains from leaving stations.
That idea of the station...
It's the pride of our university. One of the specialties taught here is zoology, you see, and more particularly, ornithology. Proper study and instruction should not be limited to books. Observation of living matter is
It contains some very rare specimens that have been brought back from far away, exotic...
Do you remember...
Absolutely. His gift produced some very embarrassing...
A poison chalice, indeed. It must be said...
Oh, yes, it could...
Are you sure there are no Amazon Sauvignon plants in Barrackstadt? Because I have just interviewed the station master and the paleontologist, and what they said really didn't convince me that there wasn't any here.
We are quite definite on this point. There are no Sauvignon plants growing in Barrackstadt.
You see, miss, the Amazon forest Sauvignon is a rare shrub that requires very special conditions for growth.
That's right. Conditions that are very hard to reproduce, believe you me.
Difficult, but not impossible. Fortunately, our garden has proved very successful.
Your garden? So, there is a garden in Barrackstadt?
Oh, the garden. Well, if there was one, it would be only a little garden hidden behind the station. But our station master would be very proud of it.
He would take very good care of it, too. Everything would grow marvelously if we were able to cultivate it at all, and it would be all down to his gardening prowess.
And we would be proud as punch. And we wouldn't forget the role the paleontologist might play in this.
What's the paleontologist got to do with it all?
Without him and without his laboratory, how would we make the wine, do you think?
And it would be good wine indeed, my dear colleagues, would it not?
Oh, yes, a delightful balm to soothe away our long hours of toil and our heavy responsibilities.
We would wait impatiently every year for the arrival of the year's produce.
So, if I have understood you correctly, there are indeed Sauvignon plants in Barrackstadt. They are cultivated in a garden behind the station, then turned into wine by the paleontologist's loving care, and finally, the pleasure of tasting is yours. If I'm not very much mistaken, gentlemen, you have a minor racket operating here.
Miss, you do go jumping to some hasty conclusions.
We never said that. That's not what we said at all.
We were talking in the conditional. You know, with ifs and woulds.
So, what would happen if I had such a hunch?
You would have to keep it to yourself, of course.
Yes, if you would be so kind as to keep it a secret. It would only be a small local concern, producing barely a few bottles every year.
That's right. Nothing so grandiose as a business. Otherwise, we'd be liable to be fined. So, we can't count on your discretion, can't we?
Don't worry, I have no intention at all of getting messed up in anything. Are you sure you want me?
It appears...
It is.
If I were to need Sauvignon grapes, I could
If Sauvignon were to be found here, it would...
But the station master would have to let you in. He would...
Yes, if that indeed...
Here we are.
Already?
Thank you.
And Do excuse me, Professor. Professor?
What is it?
I have just had a very interesting little discussion with the rectors. It seems that you are perfectly aware of the existence of Sauvignon plants here in Barrackstadt. Apparently, you find them very tasty.
Not at all. I never drink wine. I prefer to make it. Production to me is much more satisfying.
So you don't deny?
Why, seeing as the rectors have let you into our little secret, I even converted part of the laboratory into a fermenting room for Ammer's own Sauvignon wine production. Of course, I cannot produce wine in large quantities. We have to be discreet, after all.
And what about your students? Haven't they noticed anything?
Oh, you know how students are. After all, a chemical reaction is still a chemical reaction, even when grapes are involved. And malolactic fermentation takes time. Sometimes strange odors begin to waft through the corridors. Then I just burn a little sulfur.
Incredible. Totally incredible. You are really something, Professor Pons. Really something.
I'm not sure whether I should take that as a compliment.
Professor...
How?
I have just had a...
Not...
And what...
Oh.
What would you say about seeing... I'll... Excuse me, Station Master?
Can't you see I am... I am.
You have been playing with me, haven't you? You knew very well there were forest Sauvignon berries in the station garden.
No, not at all. I've never seen your Sauvignon things.
You don't have to lie to me. I know all about it. You and the rectors are in cahoots, and the professor's lab has been turned into a distillery. You've all got a nice little smuggling racket on the side.
Smuggling racket? Hey, lady, you're going a bit far there. It's just a little on-the-side thing we got going, that's all. It's just for ourselves. Hey, we're honest.
You should be ashamed of yourselves. Aren't you worried about the reputation of this fine university? The authorities should be informed of this.
But we haven't done anything wrong. It's not a crime.
can you open the gate to the garden, please?
Oh, sure. No problemo. Right away, miss. There you are. Please feel free to visit the garden at your leisure. And there was just one thing. I'm not a liar. Not really. Just mum's the word. There is the reputation of the university to think about. And I have superiors, and I have to do what I can.
I understand. Don't you worry.
Oh, thank you, miss.
I don't need that. I don't need. Yeah, miss, please, excuse me. Yes?
You know, I want to apologize for our little misunderstanding. I brought you a bottle of wine. Markstadt Sauvignon. Very good year. Let me know what you think.
I'm very touched. Thank you.
Good luck on your journey, lady.
Thank you. impossible to reach it. I'm sorry to...
What?
The sailors on the barge reckon they could help me tow my train out of here, but they're asking for money. You couldn't possibly... Right.
Look, lady.
All these...
This is...
I... What... You have...
Oh.
Why not? You...
Worst thing is...
I've just been to see the rectors, and they...
Well...
I feel like I've lost...
Hey, anything...
I won't...
Welcome to...
Hey there! On the boat!
Guten Tag, schöne Mademoiselle!
My husband say, "Hello, young lady. You want to talk to us?"
It's not very polite of you to take advantage of my predicament. We could have done favors for each other.
Favor?
Excuse me?
My husband say, "Need money for leave."
How would you... Have you gone...
Mate.
We no leave.
I just met with the...
We know not.
Your gen... I have a little problem with...
Lock, but... Stop.
I'll leave...
Dos.
Hello. Just who do you... Do excuse... Professor,
What is it?
my train stopped in a...
Ornithology?
Thank you.
How?
Please do excuse my pity.
When I...
I'll...
Sorry?
Gentlemen, forgive me for disturb...
A little problem.
They are kept to oneself.
Nor
Are you sure you want me...
It appears to me that you...
Don't...
It is...
Here, all right?
Thank you.
And thank... Everything okay?
Yes, Kate.
You should take a look around the station, Oscar.
I am obliged.
Oscar?
In a...
No point weighing myself. No point. Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, I have brought you something that should be of interest to you. Look.
What have you got there, then? Let's see. An effigy of a mammoth. But this is Hans' doll, is it not? Yes, of course it is. How on earth did you... Oh, my God. It's in my hands. It exists. It really exists. Please do excuse me. I'm deeply, deeply moved.
You see? Your Hans and my Vorarlberg heir are one and the same.
This is incredible. After all these years, how can I ever thank you, my dear? Oh, I must waste no time. I'm off to my laboratory. I must study this carefully. May I borrow your treasure a moment?
Well, actually,
Don't worry, miss. I will take the greatest care of it. But I need to study it. You see, it has such importance to me that this very afternoon I shall deliver an impromptu lecture to my students about this very object. If you are interested in Hans Vorarlberg, then it is essential that you attend.
Do you think so?
Obviously. Give me your telephone number and I will call you the moment my lecture begins. I will return you your doll at the end. You have my word. What is it you want to know, miss?
I would have loved to study at a university like this.
No age is too old to start learning.
Maybe.
You prefer being an eternal...
I have more important things to deal with. Live problems, not things that died millions of years ago.
Everyone has their own priorities, my child.
You told me earlier about a lecture on some ancient Siberian tribe called the Ooks or something?
The Yukals, my dear. Careful not to confuse them with the Ukistran people of Central Asia.
Do excuse me. I wanted to know if your lecture is going to start soon.
Your eagerness to learn delights me, my dear. But I haven't finished studying this marvelous mammoth effigy yet. Don't worry, I will call you. See you later.
You told me... I'll...
What is it you...
What would you say about seeing Hans Vo...
Young lady, you are very kind.
Can you tell me a little...
He was always a...
Arriving in Barrackstadt is in a...
Okay.
Yes, in a kind of...
You mean you drive it?
My train stopped in...
Ornithology.
I'm... Thank...
My...
Sorry.
How...
I'll...
Sorry?
I have some very sad news. Our father is dead. He passed away peacefully last Sunday in his sleep. I feel so lonely now.
Father had been but a shadow of himself since your departure. I had to take care of everything for him. Housework, factory paperwork, the workforce, clients, everything. And now, today, well, I really don't know who or what I'm fighting for. Times are so hard, and this terrible war is destroying everything. Nobody cares for our automatons anymore. I just think about you returning. And when you do return, I will have turned this factory into a palace worthy of your genius. Please take care of yourself. I love you so much, Anna.
Gentlemen, forgive me for disturbing you again, but I have a little problem.
A little problem, a little problem. Everyone has little problems now, you know.
They are kept to oneself, and they don't stop the world from turning.
Nor trains from leaving stations.
Could I possibly leave the train
out of...
Perform the task we agreed.
A deal is a...
Can you
Miss, your...
We cannot constantly be at your disposal.
If you don't mind, could you not...
Excuse me.
Indeed.
A train...
Gentlemen, I have managed to repair your university bandstand.
The bandstand is playing again. This is marvelous news.
We are really very grateful indeed.
Yes, very grateful indeed. We will look back on your visit with much fondness in our hearts.
And now let us in turn honor our word. How much is it you need, miss?
$100, if it's not too much to ask.
Something like starting.
We agree to grant you the aforementioned sum, miss. You may now leave with your train.
And while we're on the subject, when will you be leaving?
Yes, because now you should relocate your train as quickly as possible.
May I call once more upon your generosity?
What? Hand out money like that without any valid pretext? You are singularly lacking in common sense.
You certainly know how to fritter away other people's money.
Your behavior is becoming quite unbecoming.
But isn't there some other service I can...
There's nothing we can do for you, young lady. We have no other chores that...
We have to watch our university's expenditure. Its resources are not bottomless.
And our philanthropy, too, has its limits. My word!
Could I...
Out...
All right. Thank you for...
And thank you. There you go. Here's your money. I've checked it. It's all there.
Ah, thank you. Not difficult get dollar. See? You are a real businesswoman.
I'm not the only one around here.
We pleased to do deal with you. Now, you open lock or we no help you.
Why didn't you manage to open them? After all, you don't have to be a genius.
Ma vorvat pensiero esto? Declina madam. No se sei mar alles non comprendo en allora caput en andere bordel. Zils var moi. On boom telefonieren kaput.
My husband say instructions complicated. No understand manual. My husband angry. Very angry. Oh, now telephone broke. Kaput.
Now that is annoying. What are you going to do next?
We wait repairman.
Well, I don't have the time to wait. I'll have to go have a look. There must be some way of releasing the opening mechanism.
Take key. Sailor always need key for lock. Okay, thanks.
Hello?
Kate, how's my little baby girl? I was thinking about you only yesterday because I saw this fantastic fur coat. You are wrapping up warm, aren't you? I mean, people in foreign countries never know how to dress properly for the weather.
Mom, it's so sweet of you to worry, but I'm fine, really. The trip's a breeze, no worries. I mean, there's...
Well, when are you coming back? Frank is dying to meet you.
Frank? Oh, yeah, your singer. You two seeing each other then?
Oh, you'll never guess the surprise he gave me yesterday.
No, I suppose I won't.
Frank invited me to a big charity show organized by, someone or another. Anyway, they got him singing a couple of old numbers from his repertoire, and in the end, he asked me to go up on stage with him. Can you imagine me, your mother, on stage in front of thousands of people?
Wow, I would have loved to have been there. Not too emotional, I hope.
Oh, too emotional by far, especially as I hadn't even been to the hairdresser. Well, I didn't even have the proper dress on. But Frank promised me he'd see to that next time. Oh, he's such a cutie, and he's got the sweetest little...
I'm sure he has, Mom.
It would be so good if you could join us one day. Let's see, when is his next gala? I'm so forgetful these days. I swear I'd lose my head if it weren't in the clouds. You just watch out, my girl. Them years will catch up with you much quicker than you think.
I'll look out for them, Ma. Nice to hear your voice. Lots of love.
Well, to you too, my little munchkin.
The instructions are written in a language I don't recognize. The instructions are written... The instructions are... The inst- The instructions are written in a... That looks broken. Darn it!
Welcome to the East Block Control Center. To start, press the number sign. If you are using the Haltenberg lock, press 1. If you are using the Morloff lock, press 2. If you are using the Koningpass lock, press 3. If you are using the Barakstadt lock, press 4. To return to the last command, press the number sign. If you want to raise the water level, press 1. If you want to lower the water level, press 2. To return to the last command, press the number sign. You want to lower the water level in the Barakstadt lock? To confirm your choice, press star. To return to the previous command, press the number sign. Your request has been logged. Unfortunately, our regional technician is currently on holiday, and no replacement is available. We will reply to your request within 48 hours. In case of an emergency, please operate the lock system manually. We apologize for delays to our service. Welcome to the East Block Control Center. To start, press the number sign. If you are using the Haltenberg lock, press 1. If you are using the Morloff lock, press 2. If you are using the Koningpass lock, press 3. If you are using the Barakstadt lock, press 4. To return to the last command, press the number sign. If you want to raise the water level, press 1. If you want to lower the water level, press 2. To return to the last command, press the number sign. You want to lower the water level in the Barrackstadt lock? To confirm your choice, press star. To return to the previous command, press the number sign. Your request has been logged. Unfortunately, our regional technician is currently on holiday, and no replacement is available. We will reply to your request within 48 hours. In case of an emergency, please operate the lock system manually. We apologize for delays to our service.
The offices of Martin and Lawmont Associates are closed. Please contact us during opening hours from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you for calling.
Welcome to the East Lock Control Center. To start, press the number sign. If you are using the Haltenberg lock, if you want to raise the water level, you want to raise the water level in the Barrackstadt lock? To confirm your choice, your request has been logged. Unfortunately, our regional technician is currently on holiday, and no replacement is available. We will reply to your request within 48 hours. In case of an emergency, please operate the lock system manually. We apologize for delays to our service.
I'm sorry to disturb.
What can I...
Can you explain to me how the locks in the canal work, please?
A lock, right, is a system of sealed gates. They're clever, right? They help boats overcome gradient problems in channeled water flows. They make this kind of boat staircase, see? You know what I like? Sitting on the bank, watching the barges and...
I'm sorry. I must have expressed myself badly. I need to know how the locks open and close to vary the water levels.
I'm not sure on the precise maneuver. Trains and barges, trains, now those guys are very different fellows altogether.
Can you explain to me...
A lock, right, is this...
I'm sorry. I must have...
I'm not sure on the precise maneuver. Trains and barges.
I've just been to see the rectors, and they... I think...
Hey, anything I could...
Can you...
A lock. Welcome.
Everything okay?
Yes.
You must have seen that barge on the canal, Oscar? Well, that barge is going to help us by towing the train up to the winding machine. I've still got 1 or 2 matters to resolve, but they shouldn't take too long.
I cannot help you in this matter, Kate Walker.
Yeah, I figured as much, Oscar. I don't know why.
Because you have...
Oscar?
Rust awaits my...
Oscar?
In a while.
Hey there!
Guten Tag!
My husband said...
Is it the locks that are stopping you from carrying on your journey?
Da, barge no pass. Lock closed.
Have you tried, just opening them?
Nay, not possible. Have tried. Now system kaput.
Oh, dear. I am sorry about... Right. Now that you've got your $100...
Okay.
My husband say...
Yeah. We would save a lot of time if you came with me to work out how the lock system works.
Schlechte Idee. Alone bekriegst nix.
Don't you agree?
We already accept the favor. If you want more...
That's out of the question. Too bad. I'm just...
Dos.
Hello.
Hey, baby, you...
Just who do you...
Hey! Hey!
Listen. Gentlemen,
Which, I may add...
No bother, my dear.
if you can possibly get the canal lock open, then the sailors will be able to tow the train up to the winding machine.
Open the lock? What a singular idea!
What a surprising request.
Our university isn't responsible for the functioning of the canal locks. A different administration deals with that, miss.
If you can
Open...
What?
Can you possibly...
Miss, your insistence is
We cannot constantly...
If you don't mind.
Could I...
out of the
Before...
Here we all right.
Thank you.
And
What is it you want?
I'm under the impression that if I am to continue my journey, I'm going to have to open the locks on the canal.
You're probably right, my dear, so open the locks. Whether they are open or closed is none of my business.
I'm under... What would you say about seeing... I would have...
No, you...
I have...
Everyone...
You told me earlier about a lecture on some ancient Syberia...
You...
Do excuse...
Your eagerness to learn... Sorry?
No point. Hello.
Shh, don't talk so loud.
I'm sorry, but I was wondering if you could help me.
Can't you see I'm very busy?
What are you looking for?
None of your business. Now, if you don't mind, I am trying to concentrate. I haven't got a lot of time left before Professor Pons's next tutorial.
Professor Pons, you say?
Would you mind working elsewhere, please?
Hello.
Shh.
What are you...
None of you...
Professor...
Would you mind...
Excuse... Can I...
No.
You could be a little...
Keep quiet.
The ins- The instructions are... The instruction... The instructions are written... I don't need to use this That looks broke.
Guten Tag, schöne Mademoiselle.
My husband say
I've got it. I know now how the locks work. So guide your boat into the lock, and I'll take care of the mechanism.
Godverdomme. Das ist eine echte Ladies. Alle trois, range alle Dingen and...
What did your husband say?
You, hurry up! We hurry to travel again.
Okay. We'll meet each other on the other side. By my train, okay? Everything okay?
Yes.
This train might be...
I am afraid...
Ask...
In a while.
Everything...
Yes.
The university authorities want...
They have...
Hey,
the
whatever. Oscar?
Rust...
Oscar?
In a while.
I'm sorry.
What can I...
It seems that your superiors object to the presence of... I feel like I've lost...
Hey, anything?
I've just been to see the rectors, and... I won't...
Welcome.
The instruction. That looks broken.
Welcome to the East Block Control Center. To start, press the number sign. If you are using the Haltenberg lock, press 1. If you are using the Morloff lock, press 2. If you are using the Koningpass lock, press 3. If you are using the Barrackstadt lock, press 4. To return to the last command, press the number sign. If you want to raise the water level, press 1. If you want to lower the water level, press 2. To return to the last command, press the number sign. You want to raise the water level in the Barrackstadt lock? To confirm your choice, press star. To return to the previous... Your request has been logged. Unfortunately, our regional technician is currently on holiday, and no replacement is available. We will reply to your request within 48 hours. In case of an emergency, please operate the lock system manually. We apologize for delays to our service.
I don't need to... Hey there! On the boat!
Da, barge on other side. You still need us?
What do we do now to tie my train to the barge?
Mademoiselle Takata.
What did your husband say?
You attach chain to train and chain put train with barge.
Hop! Catch it, sir.
Hello, Kate Walker here.
Miss Walker, this is Professor Ponce. I'm about to start my lecture on the Yukols at any moment. Please make haste to come.
Okay, I'll give it my best.
Excellent. We'll be in the main lecture hall. See you soon. Ah, there you are, Miss Walker. Good. Take a seat quickly. I'm impatient to start my lesson. My young friends, a very exciting discovery, unimaginable up until only a few hours ago, has come into my hands and has finally allowed me to complete my study on the mysterious Yukol people. Lights, please. The Yukols are a people from the far north about whom very little is known. They live far away, very far away, on the frozen borders of Syberia. This distance and the climatic conditions of the region, which are unfavorable to human existence, have limited the size of the Yukol population and kept it out of reach of the scientific world. The handful of slides that follow are actually the only documentation we have in our possession. It was a Russian explorer who made these drawings and took these photographs 100 or so years ago. Today, we owe what we know about the Yukol people and their culture to him. We know that the origins of the Yukols date back to the last ice age. Curiously, evidence of their presence has been found in Western Europe, and more precisely in the prehistoric caves at the heart of the Alps. This people, it seems, undertook a long migration over centuries towards the far north of the globe. The reasons for this migration are due to the importance of the mammoth in their craft, trade, and culture. They used them for transportation and as beasts of burden. The mammoth brought them meat, skins, fat, and ivory. Man and animal lived in symbiosis. There's no doubt about it. Mammoths started to drift away from the region due to changing climatic conditions, and the Yukols followed them to the north, the edges of Syberia. Prehistoric cave drawings, identified as Yukol in origin, first led me to the extraordinary hypothesis that the Yukols had managed to domesticate the mammoth. They are, to the best of our knowledge, the only prehistoric people to represent a man riding a mammoth. Today, because of this genuine mammoth skin effigy, identified by myself as an authentic Neolithic object, I can confirm this hypothesis. Yukol forebears managed to tame mammoths. Prehistoric man uses little imagination. He draws what he sees and represents scenes from real life. This familiar day-to-day object is actually a children's toy. As we have seen, Yukol existence was inextricably linked to that of the mammoth. They used its skin for clothing and to make the roofs and walls of their houses. They used the tusks to build the frameworks of their homes, as well as weapons, tools, and jewelry. Curiously, the disappearance of the mammoth 12,000 years ago had no immediate effect on the Yukol's way of life. It seemed that for a long time after, the people maintained their strong bond with the mammoth through the centuries. As incredible as it may seem, the Yukol people have continued right up until the start of this century to feed themselves on mammoth meat and to use the skin for clothing and shelter. Their ivory craftwork industry is still flourishing. It would appear that to preserve ancestral customs, the Yukols learned how to exploit through the centuries the large number of frozen mammoth carcasses that were perfectly preserved in the ice of the Siberian tundra. They have been able to live mainly off this enormous freezer stock for almost 30 centuries. As plausible as this explanation may seem, it seems it is not enough for the scientific community who, I will confess, is greatly perplexed by the question. In the absence of acceptable scientific evidence, we have to make do with Yukol shaman artifacts. The research department that I have the honor to represent today lends no credence to the myths and legends that these tribal charlatans peddle. We have to take their stories at face value, mere tales to while away the long Siberian winter. The legend of the Siberian ice ark is a very good example. You are invited to find out for yourselves from the pamphlet that I had passed around to you. This legend would have us believe that today, somewhere on a lost island to the north of Syberia, there are living mammoths still in existence, a sort of hangover from the Ice Age. This small herd has been miraculously preserved for more than 120 centuries by the Yukol's tender care. And the island on which the pachyderms are said to live is called Syberia. My friends, I advise you to resist the temptation you may have to believe in this pish and tish. The island of Syberia is not charted on any map, and the idea that mammoths have survived to the 21st century is an idle scientist's pipe dream. The Yukols were sadly among the first victims of the colonization of continental Syberia led by the Russians in the 20th century. The Kolkhoz and Sovkhoz systems, as well as the exploitation, disdain, and humiliation people had to suffer, marked a definitive break in the Yukol's traditional lifestyle. Since the collapse of the communist regime, the Yuko population finds itself confronted with the same political and social upheavals that other Siberian communities are experiencing. There are two consequences to arise from this. Some Yukos have lost their tribal identity and have integrated into the Russian population. Others, however, have sought long and hard to re-establish links with their ancestral culture that was lost under the Soviet regime. Now, at the start of the 21st century, the last true surviving Yukos have gone to live on the vast territories of their ancestors. Nobody knows today where they live or how they survive. Their very existence would be a matter for speculation if they did not turn up periodically at the tundra's most isolated fur trading posts to exchange mammoth tusks for essential items. There ends my lecture for today. Thank you for being among us today, Miss Walker. Please make your way to the laboratory where you will find your mammoth doll. There are also photocopies of my lectures should you so require them.
Professor, it's me. I've come to pick up the mammoth doll.
The doll is waiting for you there, Miss Walker. Please take good care of it.
Don't worry. I'm beginning to get quite attached to it myself. Can I trouble you just a little longer?
With pleasure, Kate. I'm all ears.
I would have loved to study it.
No, you...
I must congratulate you for your lecture. You were right. The subject is absolutely fascinating. I never believed that mammoths could be so interesting.
What you heard was only the tip of the iceberg, my dear. But if I have at least awoken a passion in you, I'm only too proud.
Did Hans Vorarlberg agree with your hypothesis on the Yukols being able to tame mammoths?
Now, Hans was no man of science. His pathological obsession was to find mammoths that were still in existence. Such a hypothesis is somewhat overblown, don't you think?
You don't believe in it yourself?
Mammoths died out thousands of years ago. Of this we are certain. Today, the only mammoths in Syberia are frozen ones.
Do you know where Hans might have gone after his stay here in Barrackstadt?
No, but I would not be surprised if he left in search of the Yukols, or what is left of them today.
What would you say about seeing Hans...
Young lady...
Your Hans Vorarlberg sounds uncannily like the one I'm looking. Can you tell me a little bit more?
He was always...
Arriving in Barrackstadt...
you came by train.
Yeah.
You...
My train stopped in a peculiar...
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you in peace.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear.
Hello.
Hey, baby, you party?
Just
Hey.
listen. Hello?
Where are you?
Hi, Dan. I'm in Barrickstadt.
What? Is that a town? I hope the man you're looking for lives there. Are you coming home soon?
From what I gather, it's one huge university with an extraordinary station aviary. If you could only see it, there are trees and birds everywhere. It's so weird here.
Sounds like a great place for a bit of sightseeing. So, are you coming back soon?
I don't think so. In fact, the train I'm traveling on has some kind of a mechanical problem. We've been forced to stop here.
Us? I thought you were alone. Who's with you?
Oscar, the train engineer.
You're messing around with mechanics now, are you?
Don't be so stupid, Dan, please. Oscar is an automaton created by Mr. Vorarlberg, the man I'm looking for. And he's not any old robot. He's a sophisticated butler type, if you see what I mean. He's a bit obsessive as well.
Kate, I don't know what they're feeding you in Europe, but don't you think it's time that you came home?
But my mission still isn't finished.
To hell with your mission. I don't know why you accepted it in the first place. If you just stuck to the middle of the road, then we wouldn't be in this mess.
We? If there's any mess, it's me who's in it. And while I'm trying to come to grips with strange towns, you, my darling, are sitting at home on your butt. I seem to remember we had nothing against my departure.
It was only going to be 2 or 3 days, Kate. Please, try to put yourself in my shoes.
Your shoes. Not only do I have to fit myself into your diary, but I've got to get myself into your shoes as well? Is there anywhere else Sir would like me to put myself while we're on this subject?
Look, I don't want to talk about it now. Call me back when you've calmed down.
I was perfectly calm before I picked up your call. I only wanted a few words of encouragement, not your disdain. Was that too much to ask?
You can be such a selfish...
Takes one to know one, sweetheart. Everything okay?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am waiting to continue our journey.
You know, I think I would have liked being a student at this university. Everything's just so different here. Yorkshire does feel like another planet.
The planet New York? Is that our next stop?
Not exactly, Oscar. But I don't think you'd like it there. It doesn't run like clockwork. That's it, Oscar. We can go.
Kate Walker, I must remind you of one of the journey regulations. All objects featured in the train's inventory must be replaced before departure.
I don't understand.
Something is missing, Kate Walker.
Oh my God! The mammoth doll!
Please return it to its allocated position, Kate Walker.
We'll save some time if you help me retrieve everything we need for the train.
Very possibly. But such actions are beyond my mandate.
You're right. I really should rid myself of the delusion that you are useful to me in some way.
You should limit your requests for help to my actual capabilities, Kate Walker.
It's just that sometimes you look just so human. Speaking of mechanical problems, there aren't any other hitches I should know about, Oscar?
This train has no mechanical problems, Kate Walker. Winding the spring mechanism is standard service procedure.
Okay, Oscar, don't get all touchy about it. I didn't mean it like that. Everybody seems to like the Sauvignon grape here. People and birds. Especially these accursed Amazon cuckoos.
It is regrettable that my constitution does not enable me to ingurgitate this product.
That's everybody excluding Oscar. Speaking of This guy Hans. Bit simple, but he's obviously a genius. And then there are the mammoths. Funny guy, don't you reckon?
I'll have you know Hans Vorarlberg is my creator, Kate Walker.
I'm off, Oscar. See you later.
Yes, Kate Walker.
Everything okay?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am waiting to continue our journey.
Speaking of
This
Oscar, if you tell me one more time something's missing, I'll...
Everything is ready. Take your seat, Kate Walker. We are leaving.
I'll... Okay... What are you doing there, Oscar?
It is imperative that we comply with railroad and customs regulations, Kate Walker.
Oscar, don't you think we could drop the trifling details once and for all?
We need an exit visa to get beyond the wall, Kate Walker.
And you wouldn't know where I could get one of them from, would you?
There is usually some form of authority stationed at a guard post that is strategically positioned to issue such a visa.
Oscar, don't you think we've wasted enough time already?
You neglected to find the clockwork winding mechanism for the train with sufficient haste, Kate Walker.
What nerve! And you refused to lend a helping hand. Help that could have been invaluable to me.
I agree, Kate Walker.
If you weren't so obsessed by procedure, we wouldn't have had a hitch.
I am not entirely convinced, Kate Walker.
Oscar, please, let's get in the train and leave, can we?
Yes, Kate Walker. Give me the visa.
Do you realize...
Kate Walker, we still need an...
I don't suppose you can...
Your non-supposition is correct, Kate Walker.
You do realize, don't you, Oscar, that by preventing me from continuing this journey, you are also depriving yourself of the opportunity to meet your creator, Hans Vorarlberg.
Procedure requires an exit visa.
God,
That is not a requirement, Kate Walker. Only an exit visa is necessary.
Oscar, the automaton that drives this train will be really impatient to leave soon because he's totally obsessed about punctuality.
Yes, Kate Walker.
And it's weird, because sometimes, when he drops all that stuff about procedure, he can be so charming and attentive.
Please refrain from attributing human emotions to me, Kate Walker.
Okay, see you later, Oscar.
Yes, Kate Walker.
No point.
Hello?
Kate!